This week, we have Ian Schwartz, our local weatherman. Welcome to the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Haygood. I'm excited to introduce you to Ian Schwartz. He is our weatherman for AZ Family. We're going to get to know Ian outside of the green screen a little bit. I'll be right back with Ian at the table right after this short break. With over 20 years of experience in real estate, Sean Shackleton of the Shackleton Group is ready for you. Sean is a well-respected, full-time agent that is always at the forefront of both market trends and market technology. Most importantly, she is a realtor who will listen and always put your needs first. It's no wonder Sean is named as one of America's top 100 real estate agents. So whether you're buying or selling or need a good neighbor, call Sean of the Shackleton Group at 480-734-7277 or find them on the web at theshackletongroup.com. Arizona native Ian Schwartz starts his mornings in many of our homes. He started his journalism career in Illinois, took a couple stopovers in Albuquerque and Sacramento before coming back home as a weather guy for AZ Family. He's a Sun Devil at heart and made the unfortunate decision of Mississippi State for his meteorological degree. Although it is one of the best meteorological schools in the nation, I am an Ole Miss alumni, hotty toddy, and that is the better school in Mississippi. But now he starts his mornings telling us how our perfect Arizona weather will be today. Ian, welcome to the table. Thanks for joining me today.
I did not know that part.
Yeah.
You told us. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, it was a distance learning program.
Still, you have Mississippi State on your college
It is in my
degree.
Instagram. It is on my Instagram. But I only went there once. It was like
That's all you needed to, and you're like, I'm never going again. I'm keeping it online,
It
right?
was like a blind date. It was like the longest online blind date. That was a scam because I kept giving this person money for 3 years.
And you got a piece of paper at the end?
Yeah, I got to see him. Actually, barely never met anyone. And then I got a piece of paper at the end that said I could point at clouds.
That's awesome, on a green screen.
Officially point at things that aren't there, like a schizophrenic.
It really is one of the best schools in the nation for meteorological. So I will give you that. And yes, you should have only gone once. That was probably one times too many, in my opinion. But that's fine. You do what you got to do.
It was shocking. I'd never been. We get humidity. During our monsoon season, but nothing like
nothing like the South.
Oh my God! I mean, I could barely breathe. You can cut it with a knife.
It's true.
And I've heard that. My entire life. But you walk into it and it's like it's mass. It has mass.
It does.
And you're walking into this force field or something of humidity.
It's crazy.
But the food is delicious.
You can't beat it. We're going back next month for my husband's 40th. We're going back to Atlanta and barbecue. I mean, there's nothing like the Southern barbecue.
Is this a 40 redo or his true 40th?
Because
I've been trying to redo my 40th birthday for 2 years, and I think I'm doing it this October.
That is fair. It is his original.
Oh, it's his original. Yeah. Okay, lucky guy.
I'm not going to tell him he gets a redo, though.
Last year I was like, oh, this is it.
No, still knocked out.
It's me again.
Well, let's kind of talk about your path to stardom here in Arizona. I read that you really didn't know what you wanted to be when you grew up. You started off at Mesa Community College. You took a couple journalism elective classes. You're like, this is fun, which is kind of how I got into this as well. And then you ended up at ASU Cronkite School of Journalism. Congratulations. How did you get here? What was your path to stardom for TV?
It was stardom. Thank you for that word. I'm sliding a 20 under the table. When I graduated high school, I did not know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
And I thought, well, that seems exhausting.
I was about to say
it's a lot. I should become a weatherman.
I know. That sounds much easier.
In Phoenix, hold on.
In Phoenix. I don't have to write my own jokes.
Yeah,
everything's done for me.
I'm going to go wait tables in L.A.
Yeah.
Goodness. No, I didn't have the guts to do that, to go just move to L.A. and try that.
Okay.
That just seems so terrifying for me. I didn't, And so, I felt like I had to go to college. I know there's maybe pressure from my parents, or that's what I thought I was supposed to do. So I just went to community college for a bit and kind of floundered around there. I didn't do much. I actually was put on academic probation. No joke. At Mesa Community College, I thought, what does that mean? I have to go back to high school?
I'm not even doing
like, oh my God. It's like Billy Madison. Yeah, but like a little bit older.
Yeah.
And I think I had to limit, I could only take 2 classes or something. So I was not a good student. I was a pothead, and it's legal now. I can say that.
That's fine. Agreed.
And I just wasn't a good student. Then I took a couple classes in journalism. One was, I think, like the history of media. Mm-hmm. One, I like, I like this, and I took another one. I said, I like this, and then I went to go take a third one. It was to learn how to write for a newspaper.
Yeah.
But then I accidentally, the class was writing for the newspaper.
Yeah.
And I told the...
Oh, like you were actually writing and it was being printed?
Yeah, that was... that's how they introduced the class. I said, no, I made a mistake. I'm supposed to be one behind. I can't do this. And the editor, this guy used to write for like the Miami Herald, Pulitzer Prize winner, kind of big guy, beard and the glasses with the little things that holds them on.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a whiskey bottle in the drawer, like your
course
classic,
he does.
Classic newspaper,
old school newspaper guy.
And he's like, no, you don't do it. Stick with it. Just give it a shot. And I said, okay. And he said, we'll help you edit. We're not going to let you fail. And so I started doing stories just around the campus at MCC for the Mesa Legend.
There you go. Shout out to the Mesa Legend.
There's 2 Mesa Legends, actually. You're talking to one of them. There's the publication and the persona.
And then the person here at the table.
So I actually started as a newspaper writer, and I started doing that, and I loved how you could talk to people.
Yeah.
I loved the creativity, the writing. There's probably some ego, smuggled in there with, your name in print. And then once I kind of got out of community college jail and I started to do a little bit better, it was time to transfer to ASU. And I transferred to the journalism school, and then I realized there was a video version of...
Interesting.
What I'd watched the news, but I didn't...
It didn't click? Like, maybe I should transfer to this?
Yeah, I knew what reporters were and what they did, kind of, but I had kind of been doing this reporting thing, and I said, and I've always loved technology, and so I got into it kind of for technology, not for the TV part,
Did you want to be on air when you kind of switched that TV
No,
aspect?
I had no idea. No,
you really were sticking to like the technology of that's much more interesting than writing an article for a piece of paper.
Yeah, and I realized that I might have to be on camera, but I wasn't that was very little of my motivation. Yeah. I happen to have wonderful hair. Like that's just a coincidence. Tell the audience.
It is beautiful hair. I also heard that your hair is insured.
It is insured. It is insured. Okay.
I heard that. I don't know if people know this, but a lot of famous actors and actresses and news people, they have body parts insured. Like I think Shakira has her hips insured, and I think J-Lo has her legs insured or something like that.
Dolly Parton famously insured her breasts, I think.
Yes, and her yes. So you have your hair insured.
And my breasts.
And your breasts. I think Jay Leno has his hair insured.
I think so. Oh, yes.
I don't think he's allowed to color right now that he's not on air.
No, that's probably very expensive, but maybe one day. That's how I know I will have made it.
When
I'm insuring body parts, my teeth or something.
But it is, right?
Yeah. My hair?
Yeah.
No, it's not insured.
I thought it was.
No, I think I wrote that somewhere.
Did you?
I think it's an old bio of mine. But yeah, I got to do it for the tech stuff, and the on-camera stuff was just part of it.
But you had this personality. I mean, you wanted to be stand-up. You had that. You really behind all that motivation for the technology aspect. You did want to be in front of people.
Yeah, it was less of maybe subconsciously it is the me and the attention, but it's more of the performing.
Yeah.
And TV is a performance. I mean, yes, there's a science and the weather stuff, but I jokingly say that weather's weather ended up being it's the lowest rung of stand-up comedy. You got Weatherman, and then you go from there. Then you go up to cruise ship entertainer.
See, so you're already starting at the bottom. You can only go up and That's the best way to start. You don't want to start at the top and go down.
No, exactly. No. The expectations.
Listen, when I started off in journalism school, I purposely chose television because I had to write less. Everyone is I was 20 seconds of audio. Yes, I can do this.
Right. Compact, real
BS.
compact.
It is so hard to write for television, actually, that it's easier to write a newspaper article. I learned the hard way.
Right. Think of an old college essay. You know, you just expand it by cramming words, and it's harder to get concise and
the details
shed
that you
the
wanna,
words. Right.
So you graduated from Cronkite. You ended up in Peoria, Illinois, right?
Peoria, Illinois. Started out in the Midwest. I was a general assignment reporter, so covering murders, politics.
Which is funny because everyone from the Midwest really moves down here. And
so I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go the opposite way. Yeah, it was
you
quite
started off news.
Hard news, real hard stuff.
On location doing stuff?
Yep, live city council meetings, school board meetings, the odd story of state fair, weird fun feature story stuff too.
Yeah.
And then I filled in on weather a little bit.
Okay.
Here and there. I dabbled. And then I think a position opened up to be the weekend guy.
For the weather?
Yeah, for the weather.
Okay.
And so I did that for maybe, I think, a year or so.
Yeah.
Then the station closed and laid off like 100 people. And so I packed my stuff and moved. I was moving back in with my parents. I was like 27 or something. I was like, oh, like George Costanza. This is lovely. I was like, Costanza. Wonderful. Okay. And I kept all the boxes in the garage to like appease my dad.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this will keep him less pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm not hanging shit. I'm not hanging stuff on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm not moving back in.
It's just temporary as storage.
Yeah, and then it was kind of that Oprah universe stuff too. I'm going to leave these boxes here because I'm not going to be here long because I'm going to get a job.
Yeah.
The economy had just crapped itself. This was 2000.
Like 8, 9 time?
8, 9, yeah. And I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And then I got a call from a station in Albuquerque.
Okay.
And they said, hey, we got your tape. And I dropped off the resume tape. I think this was back when you had like physical tapes.
Yeah.
And so
I still have all my beta tapes from all my stuff. Yeah.
So I loaded up the wagon, the horses, and dropped off my beta tape.
Rode out into the sunset.
Lost one, a friend due to scurvy or the wheel broke. Oregon Trail. So they called and they said, we got this job, or KRQE in Albuquerque. I said, oh, yes, this is where I wanted to go.
I knew it, Dad. I was out.
Yeah, I'm out. Albuquerque is a great market. It was a big jump. It was market 116 to like market 44. It's an hour from Phoenix, so real close to my family. All my family's here. And I said, oh, I'd love to work in Albuquerque. They said, actually, it's our Roswell, New Mexico bureau.
Oh, so you're going to cover aliens.
Yeah, I was like, Roswell. And I had to Google it and had to keep zooming out. You ever go to a town and you're like, holy shit, this place in the middle of nowhere. You zoom out and keep going. You buy a hotel and it's in some weird part of town or way far away from what you're supposed to do. And you're like, this is so far. I'm still zooming.
What am I next to?
Worked down in Roswell for a bit, then went to Albuquerque. I think started filling in on weather. And then when I was in Albuquerque, I made the decision to go to Mississippi State, transfer, because the chief meteorologist there, he said, hey, you need to get out of reporting because the weather suits your personality better. It tends to pay better. You get more airtime. It tends to be less stressful compared to daily reporting, knocking on people's doors and stuff.
Yeah.
And, oh, your son just died. You want to talk about it?
Talk about it. It's the hardest part. Yeah. That's why I never went to reporting. I was producing so I could tell the reporter how to do that, but I didn't have to actually do the work myself.
Your whole family just drove off a cliff.
How do you feel right now?
How are you feeling? It was 10 minutes ago. Oh, you don't want to talk? Oh.
I had to cover...
Get off your lawn? Oh,
I had a Ole Miss, a very tragic accident happened. The fraternity house caught on fire.
Oh, my God.
And I knew that fraternity very well. And they're like, Alicia, go cover it. You have friends. I'm like,
was there fatalities, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
My God.
There was a couple. And I walked over there with my camera and I was like, how do you feel right now? And they're like, what are you doing? Her face. And it's like, I'm so sorry.
That's what they told me to do. I think I don't know what I'm doing.
And I was at that point, I'm like, that's it, I'm out. I never want to be on air. I only want to be behind the scenes. It's hard. It's a really hard job.
It's hard. And we don't do it to be grotesque and to be the evil media. I tell families, and if we are covering something if it is public interest, if there's a safety lesson behind it, I'm trying to think of things I've covered. Well,
I was going to ask you, what are some memorable stories you've covered? Whether it's Illinois, New Mexico, you went to Sacramento, or here in Arizona, you've covered a lot. So what are some memorable events that you've covered?
Some are pretty, tough.
Yeah.
Some kind of violent ones.
Were you excited to get off the beat and into the weather? Was it more like a better change for you? Lifestyle-wise or anything?
Probably lifestyle-wise, because I think after a while, I mean, some of the reporting stuff, half the stuff that's involved in the story, like if you get a court document, you can't say half of the stuff on TV.
Right.
I mean, they're really graphic. Sometimes there are very graphic crimes against children and horrendous things. And you would read the whole, the charging document or the affidavit or the probable cause statement, stuff like that. There'd be gnarly details in there. I mean, I covered a story I'll never forget. It was up in the Navajo Nation, and there's this young guy who was 18. I think he was on drugs. Rihalio Carroll is his name. And there's maybe like 1,000 people on this spot on the reservation. Rural territory, very, very poor. But there was a convent. There was a few nuns there, and they were doing, God's work and trying to help these people. And they'd have like a bingo night every Friday night. And after the bingo night, he broke into the convent, which was like a trailer. It's like a mobile home trailer. With like a flashlight, like a mag light, attacked the nun and, killed her, beat her to death, robbed her, stole her car. He killed a nun. It's like ooh. Bro, that's like the fastest ticket to hell. Like that's like speed line. Yeah. Like, these festivals, cut the line.
You got it.
Extra $75, right to hell. And this town loved her. This woman was doing, she didn't have to move there. She moved to the middle of nowhere to help these people and would raise some money and try to help them in the way she could. And, has this violent death. He steals this lady's car, drives to Arizona. Eventually, I think he carjacked another dude, beat him up. And eventually, they got him. And, I'm up on the Navajo Nation and covering this trial. And I'm 10 feet away from this guy. I'm just trying to, get in his head. Like, what? You killed a nun with a mag light. Like, how do you? I can't. Now, the drugs probably play into this, obviously, but so just crazy trying to think of
to get in their head because it's to me being a reporter that relatability, so you can get into the story and make it relatable to your viewer or listener, whoever is. That's hard, and it is one of those things getting into their head.
Yeah, you look like a normal kid. You wouldn't have shaggy hair, look like a shy normal kid, and so that's more the more graphic ones. But there's been stories where big wildfires in Northern California. I worked in Sacramento. Yeah. And there was a ton of drought, and the state was always on fire. And in that state, every state's different that allows the media to go here or there or not at all. It's pretty restrictive here in Arizona, so they'll put up a barricade and you can't go past it. So if you want to shoot the wildfire, you have to do it from a great distance or with a helicopter or drone, although the drones I don't think are allowed. But in California, they let you go anywhere unless it's a crime scene. Ah. So if there was like a giant earthquake, they would let you go traipse all over town. You may kill yourself. You got to be careful. On you. Yeah, and they'll tell you that. I've been on fire scenes where they'll say, "Don't go. We highly recommend you don't go past this spot." Yeah. And we may, we're not stupid. We weren't stupid, but we might go a little further, get our shot, and go back. But
that has to be scary and crazy. You're in the middle of a huge fire.
Oh yeah, this is like raining down ash in your hair, and
on that hair. You had
yes. Well, give me a little salt and pepper kind of mature look. The viewers trusted me.
It is true, but they do. They're like, "Oh my God, Ian Schwartz in the middle of a fire. What is he talking about? What's going on?"
Yeah. So California had this those were super memorable, and then just stories where I was able to help people. Like this one lady in Sacramento, there's vacant land next to her, and the weeds were like 10 feet tall, and there had been all these little brush fires along the river near where she lived, and she was scared to death that the weeds were going to catch fire and it was going to burn her house down, which it surely would have. And she wasn't getting any help from the city, and she called. So we finally start shaking, kicking the bush and stuff like that, and in a couple of days it was like done and fixed. And so this lady who didn't have either the wherewithal or the time or the patience, got answers and
results.
And results. I'm a public servant. That's how I think of it. I don't, the TV stuff and the razzle dazzle and all the silliness that goes, along with it. I really am a reporter and a public servant, first. And it's still to this day, even doing weather and the lighter stuff, I still think of it as a public service job and working for the people in whatever capacity it is. Even if it's like making them laugh,
which is every day. I want to take a short break, and we're going to come back. I want to talk about some of your favorite things about being the weatherman and maybe some of the hardest parts.
Oh boy.
Stay tuned. We all want that perfect smile. So who better to call for all your dental needs than Dr. Rob DeVito at Arizona Center for Laser Dentistry. Dr. DeVito and his staff offer the best dental experience. Whether it's time for your routine cleaning, one-of-a-kind laser dental treatment, or teeth whitening, their same-day service saves you time and money. And as a mom of 2 little ones, trust me, this is exactly what I need. Give Dr. DeVito a call at 480-990-1905. You can also find him on the web at drdevito.com. Sitting here with Ian Schwartz, AZ Family Weatherman. He is in my house every morning. I actually told my husband that you were coming today, and he was so jealous, but I made him stay home with the kids so you and I could get through this time. We do. You said it before, Ian. You make weather fun, and I think that people underestimate. You're to blame for everything. If you don't get the weather right, you're screwed. And everyone thinks that you chose this. I thought it was going to rain. You told me it was going to rain, and it didn't rain. Why? So, what's the hardest part of your job, Ian?
The monsoon.
Is it?
Oh, my God. We love it and we hate it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we love the thunderstorms.
Yeah.
The different, combinations and ingredients that goes into the setup each day or each week. But it can be so sporadic. And there will be spots that are flooding and have had trees ripped off and carports destroyed. And then 2 miles down the road, there's nothing.
It's crazy.
Or drops.
Explain a monsoon. How does the monsoon really affect us? And it has to do with the mountains and stuff, right? And us being in a valley.
You get this massive surge of moisture. You have this
I'm sorry I don't have a green screen behind you right now.
I am gesturing with my hands, for sure. You get this massive surge from the south, and then you get mountains, heat, everything kind of going up the mountains, rising, cooling, condensing. The main feature of the monsoon is this massive surge of moisture that is usually kept to the east, but really activates with a seasonal wind shift. Okay. Monsoon actually means wind shift, I think is the Arabic translation, or wind, seasonal shift or wind shift or something like that.
Mississippi State didn't teach you that? Should have gone to Ole Miss.
It's been a second. It has to do with seasons. So you have this high pressure ridge that expands, and as it expands, it helps scoop up moisture from the Gulf, scoop it up from the Sea of Cortez and from the Pacific. And then with heat, the combination of the mountains, and then several of the funky things that happen in the atmosphere, we get these explosive storms. There'll be blue, today we're recording this on a Saturday, blue skies, there's clouds around, but it's not raining. And then tonight, all hell could break loose.
Yeah. And it is so sporadic. I mean, I live here in North Scottsdale. I've literally had people that live in the back of the neighborhood and be like, oh my gosh, the lightning's crazy. And I was like, we're fine. My kids are outside. What's going on, Compared to the Midwest, sometimes you get these cold fronts that roll through and, from head to toe, the whole state will get it. Or their summer thunderstorms tend to be just more active, and you see them on a constant basis, like down in the South. Here, you'll go long periods without them, and then they'll just kind of happen, and then the ground doesn't, absorb the moisture very well, and we get crazy flash flooding. We always have people driving their cars through flood waters, and they get washed down the road. And had this happen.
The news helicopter's above you, and you're going to be on TV. So don't do it.
Don't do it.
Aside from dying, if that's obviously the worst case scenario. But if you don't want to be on TV, don't drive through a flooded wash, because you are going to get stuck, and then you are going to get on TV, because we'll definitely get video of it and use it a lot.
Repeat on repeat.
Yeah.
Hey, roll that B-roll again, we got.
Especially the bigger your truck is.
The high-rise
Oh my
ones.
God, there's a direct correlation. The bigger the truck, the higher the truck, and if you get stuck, the more we will use it.
That's hilarious because we're like just proving how wrong you are.
Oh boy, old boy didn't get it done.
Yeah, I love it. You're like have something in mind right now. I see. You're like, I remember this one white truck.
Yeah, I've seen plenty.
We all blame the weather guy for everything. You're an Arizona native, so you've seen a lot. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the weather system since like growing up here? Are we having more monsoons, less monsoons? The drought is like the hot topic right now too.
Yes, but huge problems with drought and reliance on Lake Mead and the Colorado River. It's basically think of like your teens or your 20s when you weren't good with money. And you like overdraft your account a lot. And you're like, God, $30, another $30 charge. And you call Wells Fargo trying to get them off. It was an accident. Like it happened 7 times.
Yeah, this time I meant it though.
this one, the last one I knew I didn't have money. The other ones I thought I did have money. So that's our account is the Colorado River, and we're overdrafting the hell out of it. With population explosion, so that's going to be an issue, and we'll see what happens. Whether it comes to if there's going to be
major consequences. Here.
Yeah, like if they impose things as far as lawns, and because I think back in the day, some cities, you water on a certain day based on your license plate or your address.
That's how I grew up. I mean, we grew up in the South, and even during the summer when we weren't having a lot of rain, it was like your odd number addresses were Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Your even was Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
You get a lot more rain than us.
And we did.
So why don't we
Right. So we did in the summertime. It is crazy to me thinking about that. I went home over the summer, and it rained for a week straight, and one day they got 3 inches. I was like, that's what we get in the summer. Y'all realize that, right?
A lot of
rain.
And
my kids are like, this is so much rain. Being Arizona kids now, it is. Yeah. It's just funny.
As far as what I've seen change, a lot of this is anecdotal. I don't have the data in front of me. It seems like the storms are later.
Oh, okay.
Later in the evening, later at night.
Oh, time of day later.
Day later.
Which is kind of safer, I think.
Yeah.
Not many people on the roads with their heavy trucks trying to drive
going through
a
flooded wash up by Cave Creek. Because as a kid, I definitely remember more of them during the day.
Okay. What about the dust storms around here? I feel like those haven't happened a lot since I've been here.
That's hard to say. I want to say at first we're seeing more of them, and we will probably see more of them. Speaking of water cuts, if you cut off farmers in Pinal County and into Pima County, kind of following I-10 down to Tucson.
Yeah.
So if they let the land go, and they happen to be next to I-10.
Yeah,
that's going to be more foul. That's more dust available.
That's true.
If there's a crop in there,
at least it'll absorb it.
There's not as much dust around.
That's true, and that's a flat 2-lane highway. That would just get covered.
Yeah. And those are bad. I mean, they're bad. They're kind of scary if you get caught in one of those. Like it's not pleasant.
Yeah.
And they've had down by past Tucson by Benson, the I-10 almost to New Mexico. They've had multi-car deadly accidents.
Goodness. We get that with fog. See, ours is fog in the South.
Right. Same thing.
Yeah,
as far as
that's true.
visibility,
I never thought
same
about
deal.
that.
Sacramento Valley had the same thing. They'd get this they call it two-leaf fog, and it would be so thick and couldn't see like an eighth of a mile in front of you.
Goodness.
And you're like, oh my God. And then you turn on your brights, you're like, it's worse.
Yeah, it is so worse.
How did that happen? These are supposed to help.
It is.
Warming temperatures. Summer starts earlier.
Oh.
It ends later. If you look at the past 100, 200 years.
So we're getting more hot days?
Yes. More days of 100-degree heat. Part of that is cement. More cement. Yeah. It really absorbs the cement. We have more days. We have more mornings in the 90s. Our overnight lows, we have more 90-degree plus overnight lows. 50, 60 years ago, we maybe had a couple. And now we get them to teens and 20s.
Yeah.
So that means the coldest point in a 24-hour period is 93 degrees.
This is what I was telling my family because, again, when I was home, the high was 95. I was like, this was our low. Y'all realize that? And we got
low.
We got that low at 11 o'clock at night. And when I was up at 6, it was still 95 degrees. And it was 100 by 8:30.
Yeah.
There's no time to go outside anymore.
No, and when we have the serious heat warnings and heat waves, getting into the 113, 14, 15, 16 territory, part of the problem is the body never gets a chance to rest.
Yeah.
So it never cools down. And so if you're have medical issues, you're older, that also kind of beats down on you, and that leads to some of the heat-related illness we see.
Yeah.
That overnight low aspect of the body not being able to recover from the heat.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're not only are you a huge weather fan, you're a huge Suns fan.
Yes, I'm born again.
Yeah, born again?
Yeah, because I used to be like a pretty big fan as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I'd go to games with my dad,
Yeah.
and then I kind of... Well, they also weren't doing good, so that probably...
So it's like you could get in, and they're like, please come in.
There's no secret. Like, oh, you're winning. People have interest.
Yeah.
What a formula.
So is this new since they've been good the past few years?
Yeah, I got sucked in. I got sucked into the...
The way you represent, you look like a diehard fan.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've followed them, and I played the national anthem on the court twice when I was a youngin'.
Look at you.
With my elementary school, the Southwest Stringers.
Look at that.
This elite group, of course.
An elite group of middle schoolers.
So I have a lot of history with the Suns, but I was kind of a fair weather fan for a while. But I'm back now.
Forever. I'm going to hold you to this.
Hopefully. I bought season ticket, half season tickets.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But it's fun. There's a lot of energy. I mean, the games are just they're a riot. It's one of the hottest tickets in town, and it's a blast. And it's just a lot. I hope to keep the energy going.
Is basketball one of your favorite sports?
Yeah, for me, it's like it's the easiest to watch.
Yeah.
Like hockey, I can't see the puck. I have
Fair.
fine vision, but I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. Hockey is much more fun to watch live in person.
Yes, totally.
And
totally.
it's one of those games that you have a completely different relationship with a live game than you do watching it on TV.
Football, there's a lot of standing around.
Yeah.
A lot of standing around, measuring stuff. And
I'm like a huge college football specifically for me.
Yeah, that's
you're
fun.
right.
That's its own beast.
It is.
So football is fun. Football is more of the experience for me.
Yep.
Either in person, watching it, with friends and the food.
Yeah, it is.
No one has like a, NBA Finals potluck. Like nobody does that, right?
That's true.
I was like, I'm barbecuing for the finals. Like, you are?
Yeah.
Or,
actually,
bring a dip.
It's more,
to the finals?
No.
It's the semifinals? No, not
You're
the
like,
semifinals.
no, it's the opposite of that.
But football is like that.
It is more of a party sport. And that's
Party
gathering party, like get together, barbecue.
That has that.
Yeah, I agree.
Baseball is, baseball.
See, baseball's long to me. Baseball's the one that's like sitting around forever.
It's like soccer, but they score a little more.
Yeah, a little. I'm with you.
It was a 4-hour game, and it's like 2-3 or 2-1.
Or when it goes into 15 innings, and it's 1-0.
Like turning the lights off.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Still
I'm
playing.
with you. My son's into baseball now, so thank goodness they're timed games. So like no matter what it is, an hour and a half and you're done.
But baseball's fun to play.
Okay.
I liked baseball. I thought that was a fun sport.
Yeah.
I was never good at any of them. I tried a lot of them.
Yeah.
I had a track coach. I don't know if I was trying out. I was named Coach Morgan at Rose Junior High in Mesa. And I ran the lap or whatever the assignment was, and I'd come back, huffing and puffing. And he's like, well, Ian, maybe a track just isn't for you.
See, that's what...
I was like, what? All I have to do is, anybody could do track,
no.
right? You just have to run in a circle.
No.
But apparently I couldn't do that.
That's how I was. Everyone's like, oh, were you the cheerleader? I was like, yeah, in the top of the stands. Like, I didn't even make it to, the bench on the ground cheerleading. It was like I was sitting with the parents and watching all my friends. And so I was like the best cheerleader for the cheerleaders is who I was. Yeah.
Well, we need that. We need the motivation.
My sister got all the athletic genes, and she tried out for track, made it. Tried out for cheerleading, made it. Tried out for gymnastics, made it. And all she wanted, she's like, all I want to do was, what you were doing. I was like, but I couldn't do any of it. You realize that, I never made a team. You made the team. So there I am cheering you on at what yeah, that was my life. So I feel you. Before we leave, I have 2 more questions.
Sure.
Get out your magic ball, your crystal ball. What are we going to have for weather for our peak season? Can you kind of see a pattern happening at all of higher temperatures mean a little higher for this winter time? What are you thinking?
Oh, yeah. The long range stuff can be tricky.
You have to be right because I'm putting this on the internet. So if you're not, people are going to come after you.
They're going to have the receipts, the weather receipts. It's tough. I mean, the monsoon, this year we were forecasted to have average or below average.
Okay.
I think right now we're kind of up.
Okay.
Last year we were forecasted to have below average, and it was like a record-setting season.
Was, yeah.
2020 was supposed to be a good season.
It was the hottest on record.
Hottest on record, and there was no rain.
By the way, that was my first summer here.
Oh my God. We had 52 days of 110 or higher.
I know.
Or something like maybe 53.
That was COVID summer that no one was allowed to go anywhere or do anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we moved here July 1st of 2019. And everyone's like, why? And I was like you were talking about with the Weatherman, on-air position, I just want to start at the bottom, and then you could only go up.
Yes. No, start with the worst possible summer.
Did.
Oh.
But I started, so I did. I got the worst possible summer for my first whole summer here.
Oh,
and it was COVID. It's like, I looked at my husband, was like, why? Why did we choose Scottsdale?
It was something else. It was something else.
It was miserable.
So hopefully we never do that again.
I'm fair. I'm down.
But, yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, winter, the best part of Arizona is our winters.
Yeah, and we're going to have such a busy season this year.
Oh, it's going to be crazy. With the Super Bowl and the Phoenix Open, we are going to go crazy with our broadcast coverage.
I'm so excited for it.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah. You'll always go all out for the Open anyways and do coverage there for the week. And, and then adding the Super Bowl to it. It's going to be a great summer. So hopefully just great weather to go with it. If not, I know who I'm going to come after.
The last Super Bowl, it rained here and it was foggy, and people have not forgotten about that.
We need a redo.
People are trying to golf. We can go to Phoenix. It'll be beautiful and golf. And there was socked in with fog.
Yeah.
And there's never fog in downtown Phoenix.
Yeah.
But it was
That's crazy. I was not here then. So.
Oh my gosh. That it is not a common. You'll get fog in the foothills, but it was all over town, and it was thick, and people were not happy. So we're working on that. We're trying.
This is my pre-planning, how I'm preparing. I'm working on the weather.
We are praying. We're going to start sacrificing all manner of animals.
There you go.
To make sure there's sunshine and pleasant temperatures.
Get everything you can.
So if you see some weird carcasses around town, that's what's it's for the Super Bowl gods and the weather.
It's fair. You're super active in the community. You love going out, hiking, and eating out in the amazing restaurant scene that we have here. What is your favorite Scottsdale vibe? What's something that you love about Scottsdale?
I have to say that staycation summer resorts,
top notch,
number one, because you can go there, party all day, then go out to Old Town and do whatever. Kierland is a really, really cool area. Mm-hmm. That's a whole vibe and thing in itself. But it has to be the resorts. I'll always I try to do at least 2 to 3.
That's nice. Yeah.
A summer.
It's really funny because I had friends come visit me and they wanted to go to Palm Springs or Palm Desert, and I'm like, where y'all could just come here. Y'all realize it's the same thing. Yeah. And for my 40th is next year, and so we're starting to talk about it, and they're like, we'll just come to you. It's perfect weather in March.
Boom.
You have the resort life, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, we can, I guess.
Yeah. But you got to be careful with the staycation, because the room was only insert number here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get that little folio. How the hell? We're supposed to be saving money here.
We didn't drive anywhere. But we did.
Yeah, if you don't leave the premises, and some of them, oh my God.
Yeah. But you're there. You're there for the ambiance, and you're there to be spoiled.
You don't have
to
think about anything.
It's fantastic.
It's kind of like an open air casino. There's no clocks.
Yeah, it really is funny.
There's no vending machines. You're you have to eat here.
It's hot all day. You never know what time of day it is.
And they're just ready with a drink. You don't blink, and there's a drink right there.
It's true.
And it's I don't care if this is $15. I'm at this pool. I've had too many. I'm not getting out. I can't even move. I might have to pee in here. Yeah. Give me another $15 drink. What the hell?
It's great. The kids are just swimming around it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ian. I still think you have a second shot at stand-up comedy. Again, if you started at the bottom, then we're good to go from there.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Tune in. He really is great. He makes the weather fun and enjoyable, and he hasn't been wrong that I've known so far. Yet. Exactly,
yet. Well, let's see about when's your 40th. I got to make sure that's
thank you.
Intact.
Go ahead and start sacrificing the animals for that.
I'm going to be busy.
Yeah. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have some calendar of events for you. We We've heard commercials for those other insurance agents, but when it comes to someone who knows Scottsdale and the insurance business, there's only one person you can trust with your stuff, and that's Jeremy Mueller of State Farm Insurance. Jeremy and his team of agents have been helping Scottsdale for over 20 years. From big purchases to rentals, there is nothing Jeremy can't cover at the best rate with the best service. Don't believe me? Then give him a call yourself at 480-515-5523 or find him on the web at jeremymueller.com. This week's calendar of events is brought to you by Notre Dame Prep. Notre Dame Prep is your Catholic high school located in North Scottsdale. Go find the saint in you by checking out ndpsaints.org. Well, it's Labor Day weekend. That means neighborhood barbecues, staycations at some of our best resorts, and pool parties. Of course, tune in to Ian Schwartz and his wise weather team at AZ Family. I'm sure they're going to help us have a fabulous Labor Day weekend. Another thing to do this weekend is the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. If you're needing something to do Labor Day morning, go visit the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. They're having a walk with wildlife tour from 8 to 11 a.m. before it gets too hot, so I'm sure the animals will be outside more. See some of our natural habitats and learn more about the animals in our backyard. It's $25 for adults and $15 for kids 3 to 12 years old. It's also the last weekend to go Salt River tubing, so enjoy the river. They're having a Salt River Heroes equals Litter Zero theme. So it's a great fun for a few hours and a way to beat the heat. Ticket prices start at $21. Have a wonderful long weekend. Enjoy your time with family and friends. Keep vibing, Scottsdale, and I'll see you around town.